Welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. We are lucky once again to have the one and only Ben Dixon. Ben Dixon is a creative director of East and 42nd, host of Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon. He is a journalist that unearthed the audio clips of presidential candidate and former New York Mayor Mike Bloomberg advocating controversial stop and frisk policies. So he knows what he's talking about. He has written for The Guardian. He sometimes appears on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar and on several other networks, MSNBC, CNN, etc., etc., etc. Senor Dixon, welcome to Politics Done Right once again. How are you doing today, my friend?
Man, I'm doing great after that introduction. My goodness.
Well, I mean, it's due you, my friend. It's due you.
Man.
You know, I was listening to your program this morning, and it was like, I always, I always get my spirits up whenever I listen to Like It or Not. So I encourage everybody to make sure to check out the Ben Dixon Show, Like It or Not, every single morning at, you know what? I usually check in about 8 Central. What time is the official time that it starts?
We start at 8 Eastern. We start on the clock with Georgia Fort, and then we roll right into the Benjamin Dixon Show, and then we roll right into Like It or Not with Rebecca Azor.
Okay, great. Because I usually check in at 8 o'clock, like I'm in my time, which is 9 o'clock your time. So I guess I reached to the Like It or Not time or something like that.
Yeah, we're streaming. I mean, it's the best place to be on YouTube at that time in the morning.
Absolutely, there's absolutely no doubt. Let me tell you, I do it. So hey, come on, man, it is great.
Oh man, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
Well, I mean, because, like I said, it's informative, but more than anything else, also it's not stuffy. So
yeah. You know, we have to find that place. We have to take back the narrative of our enjoyment, of our joy.
Yes.
You know, talking about politics weighs you down, and they've kind of separated the power of our joy from our power of our politics. And so that's why we want our place on every morning to be a place of joy while we handle some business, while we take people out to the woodshed, as Bro Mac would say.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I'm learning that from you guys because I've tried to lighten up some, etc. Yes, I'm, you know what they say, what is that word that they say? Something about is the best form of flattery. What is it again?
Oh, brotherhood.
Yes, okay. We'll call
is
it
the best form.
Anyhow,
flattery.
Let me tell you what I wanted to talk to you about, because, right now we're going through all the issues now with, should we have the filibuster? What's going to happen with the this infrastructure program? Should we have a bipartisan structure? All of this kind of crap that we're talking about. I want to hear your thoughts. First of all, should we have a filibuster?
No. It is merely a veneer of statesmanship. That's all. It gives them the appearance of dignity, as if they are the respected institution that the Senate, that you would expect the Senate of the greatest empire in the history of the world to be. They are not that, but they cling to this thing called the filibuster in hopes of carrying that veneer. At the end of the day, it has served only one purpose, and then that is to slow down and impede progress in this country.
I've been thinking really deeply about this, Ben, and I want to pass this to you and get your impression of this, okay? There are Democrats, there are Republicans, and there are on the Democratic aisle, you have centrist Democrats, moderate Democrats, you have left Democrats. I generally consider myself a very left Democrat. You also have moderate Republicans, you also have right wingers, and you have, just regular, very conservative Republicans. Right. My contention is that there is not a lot of difference with a particular sect within the Democratic Party and the Republican Party that are in fact corporatists. And in order to maintain that structure, as a country, as the people in the country are moving left, if you take a look at the polls, at all the things that they want, the country is really moving left in the policies that they want. These are not the policies that the plutocracy, the big guys, would want. And therefore, the filibuster makes on democracy tenable through that particular act. What's your thought?
Well, you like to cut to the essential question, don't you?
I try.
Because there it is, right? The truth is, the filibuster is the perfect cudgel, the perfect foil the perfect cover to have something to blame and say, oh, we can't possibly do this because we can't possibly get that level of bipartisanship on an issue that the majority of Americans want. But because it's convenient for the oligarchs, the Michael Bloombergs of the
Right.
world. How you doing, Mike? Um, it's convenient for them to be able to hide behind the veneer of the bad Republicans when the reality of it is that both parties are protecting the corporate interests in this country.
I think that is important information, because I think unless most Americans see that, those that are still hoping that, well, there's a reason for the filibuster, they'll get what's real. It's really not in their favor. And even some of those that think they support the filibuster, it really hurts most Americans.
Doesn't it though? But how many things have Republicans shown? Remember when we knew for sure that Thomas Frank's book, What's the Matter with Kansas, would
Yes.
wake up some Republicans to say, hey, y'all been voting against your own best interest. Now, let's not, notwithstanding the fact that we have the issues inside the Democratic Party, the corporate interests that are representative there, that are happy.
Right.
The Joe Manchin, the Kirsten Sinema, and the Joe Biden, who's happy to say, oh, we can't possibly get 60 votes on a bill that would actually give us Medicare for all. Couldn't. Therefore, we don't try. And therefore, the corporate interests are protected in this country.
It makes no sense. I mean, actually, though, that's why I work grassroots and say that what we have to do should always be working at the grassroots. Now, interestingly, you brought up Medicare fraud. We just this weekend we had in over 50 cities a big hoopla, not hoopla, people protesting for Medicare for all. I think it was in about 50 cities around the country this weekend. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
Mhm.
I'm more than, let's assume you're not aware of it. Guess who else is not aware of it? Most Americans. I remember in the Tea Party days
Mm.
when 50 Tea Party folks go on the National Mall, and ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, and everybody would be there with cameras, and they'll give it not a wide angle shot, but a small angle shot, and watching all the signs of these people. And, it's big news. We had 50 cities on Medicare for all. And you know what was absent? Coverage.
So, yeah, um, it shows you that the narrative that this country is interested in forwarding is one that is a right wing narrative.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, the reason they wouldn't cover these marches, one of the reasons, would be because, well, we're going to have a fight against the healthcare industry like no one can imagine, right? I just want to be clear about that. To get Medicare for all, we're going to have to take on the wealthiest elite who have made custom of watching people die as a matter of a profit margin, and you think they're going to be afraid of our marching. My thing is like we've got a war on our hands to get some basic humanity here in this country, and the front line on this Medicare for all battlefront are the health care institutions that have yet to even begin to spend the money necessary to bring this down as a movement.
And you know what? It is. And that's why I think it has to be grassroots, mass movement, and one that actually scares them. And, it is interesting because I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but the only time people start to make changes is when they actually believe that their material wealth is going to be at stake. And that's the
Hmm.
only time that at some point that they do something about it. So who knows? Now, heading back to the infrastructure deal, should we really even be worried about trying to get a bipartisan infrastructure deal? Or is that a way for us to simply get less than we possibly could?
Um, I'm going to follow your instinct on this one. I, I think it's a good way to run out the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good way to run out the clock all the way to the next election so that we couldn't possibly have any conversation about Medicare for all because we're up in the election. Let me actually back up because we framed this around Medicare for all. Yeah, we can't even get a consensus on our right to vote.
That
Okay.
was where I was going next, but go ahead.
I need to bring this up a level here,
Yes.
right? I know we started the conversation talking about Medicare for all, but we can't even get a consensus, a bipartisan consensus of 60 votes to overcome the filibuster in order to protect the voting rights of the very people who put the Democratic Party in power. Yeah, we got a war on our hands, and I don't even think we realize the score because we can't get that much, let alone any type of policy that would actually move us into the future.
You know what I found very interesting after, President Biden gave that speech on the vote, right? My first contention was he didn't say anything. He didn't say he was going to do absolutely anything. And I heard all the reporters about how strong the speech was, et cetera, et cetera. And my next question is, so what you going to do? And and explain this to me, please, Ben. We were able to, McConnell had no problems for the highest judge in this country, the Supreme Court, to create a carve out for a Supreme Court judge. Isn't there some way to create a carve out for democracy?
Well, the whole point is that they made it clear that democracy is negotiable for the Republican Party, for the conservative movement. And the question of the day is democracy negotiable for the Democratic Party? Because they're the ones that have the majority in the Senate and the ability to pass this legislation if they just do away with the filibuster. Now, they need to let us know, did y'all really come to the dance with us or were y'all fooling us? Because if y'all been fooling us all this time, Democrats, and you're willing to watch democracy go down for the sake of protecting your financiers, then I think you guys got a much bigger problem on your hands than you think.
I was watching Roland Martin the other day, and Roland Martin, I sent out a tweet to him giving him some kudos. He said one of the issues with what we're talking about voting rights is that right now it is a black and brown, a people of color issue, and since it's framed as this particular sect losing their voting rights, we're snowing the rest of the population because they may think that these policies negate the voting rights of folks, of people of color. But in reality, it's much deeper than that. It's creating the structure to negate the rights of whomever they need to negate to pass particular policies when they need to do so. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean,
in other words, it's easy for them to not worry too much because it's people of color.
Yeah.
Because they don't make it known that it's these others that will be affected as well.
Yeah, I guess my only hesitation is in the fact that, we already understand that democracy is negotiable for them.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the rights of a few black folks?
Right.
What's that? They marched up the steps of the Capitol on January 6th in order to overthrow democracy because they were dissatisfied with the outcome of an election of a system that was built to benefit them, no matter which party won. And they felt the need to march up the steps and overthrow this democracy for that reason. And here we are. And well, you know what, Doc? If they will overthrow our democracy for that cause, they will trample on any of our rights for the expediency of their political gain.
So where do you think this ends? What do you think is going to be outcome of our first 2 years of supposedly democratic control of the entire government? Are we going to get anything?
I think
And when I
say
we, I'm talking about progressives, not necessarily just people of color, progressives in general.
No, I don't think we're going to get anything. I'm just to be straight up with you. We're not going to get anything. And I didn't expect as much. And there's plenty of videos of me saying as much. Like the only thing I needed Joe Biden to not be was a fascist.
That was the only expectation you had, huh?
Quite literally, I'm on the record. The only thing I needed Joe Biden to not be was a fascist. And I mean, well, democracy is now negotiable, Democrats. That's why we need them to tell us who they really are. Show us who you really are. Are you really the fascist that so many people like to say Democrats are secretly? Because if you can't secure our vote, then no, you are part and parcel of a system that was sent here to oppress us through the illusion of democracy.
And actually, it seems like that is where we're at right now, that they really don't want that to do. So what do we do, Ben? I mean, we have people that are trying to speak truth. How effective can enough of us speaking truth be? I am still optimistic in doing it. Your thoughts?
Oh no, no. Like I said, we're people who are tired of overcoming, and it's time for us to lead. I do mean that in terms of blackness,
Mm-hmm.
because in so much as blackness has had to be revolutionary by just the sheer virtue of our existence,
Mm-hmm.
we are revolutionary. Um, and so I think that there really is going to be an alliance that's going to catch folks off guard. That's going to be an alliance between the black community and the progressive community on our terms, because we have a fight on our hands and the Democrats are not up to it. So that's what's next.
Now, I've been going over this back and forth. Does that mean new party, or does that mean infiltration of the Democratic Party? Likely the only, which one is it?
Oh no, that means the people who've already been doing the work all this time are now about to connect the dots, and we're all about to, the Voltron is getting ready. Listen, there are folks. While people have been talking about this work, there have been folks who have been doing the work, and
Mm-hmm.
they are in position. The squad didn't just get there for no reason,
Exactly.
right? Nina
Right.
Turner isn't getting ready to take this position for no
Let me
reason.
let's stop. Let me stop you
Yeah.
right there. You think she's going to do it?
Oh yeah, she's gonna do it for sure.
Okay.
As right, she should.
Oh,
Bec-
absolutely.
yeah.
Have you had her on your show yet?
Oh yeah, yeah. I try not to bother her. I try not to bother folks during when they're
When
in
they
there
when they're doing it? Yeah,
when they're
I
doing their thing.
yes, yeah. I had
I
her a
mess.
couple of years on, and I just sent the thing. I tried to get her, but right now I think they really taking
Oh
it
yeah,
and running
she's running
around.
all over the place. But I did have the pleasure of catching up with her, and she is all
She's
I can say
real.
is she's the most sincere. She's one of the most sincere people I know out here. She's the real deal.
She is real. I met her at the Bernie campaign in Arizona, where we did some talking, and that's what everybody who, that is the reason why they have to play scorched earth on people like
That's right.
her and others,
That's right.
others in the squad, because they connect with people, and that's why
Yeah.
they're there. But anyhow, Ben, we're coming up to close on time, so give me a closing statement as far as what you believe. Numero uno, we're with the Democratic Party. Where are we heading for in the next 2 years? And you brought up a new subject that I want you to kind of elaborate a little bit on, as far as this coalition that we're talking about of the doers. How soon do
Oh
we
yeah.
actually come into fruition?
Yeah, no, I think we're walking in it now, man. I think that the people who have been working on these things, because we really been meaning it, like, you don't put your life on the line like Nina Turner is, um, just for like popularity.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm going to be honest with you. Not to create a divide between black and white, but let's be sure about something. Politics for black people have been a matter of life and death.
Right.
There's never been a part of black politics that has been for fun.
Right.
Now on my show, we're learning how to have fun so that we don't just let you all see our anger. But if there's any group that should ever be seen as progressive by sheer virtue of our existence, it is the revolutionary spirit inside of black folks. And so from that perspective, we saved y'all in January with the special election. In November with Donald Trump, we did the dirty work. Now it's time for y'all to put up or shut up and show us who the hell y'all really are. Are you with us or are you against us, Democrats? That's all.
Absolutely, no doubt. Benjamin Dixon, creator, director of East and 42nd, host of Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon. Benjamin,
Hey, man.
like always,
Hey,
thank you.
thanks for letting me rant, man. I don't get to rant like that all the time. So
No,
thanks.
hey, this is, like I tell folks every time, this is your show. Anyway, thank you, my
Man.
brother.
Hey,
You have a
blessings
good
on
one,
you,
and
man. Take care.
thank you for being with us.
Pleasure's mine.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.